Hello again guys, I come at you again today with a video that is long awaited, at least by me. The Galaxy S7 was one of my favorite phones of last year, until my wife snatched it from me. You do what you've got to. But today, the Galaxy S8 is officially in the house. I did my pre-order through Best Buy, so of course I ended up with the AT&T version because they didn't have unlocked whenever I pre-ordered, and like pretty much every other tech reviewer, I'm sure, Orchid Gray, I'm absolutely looking forward to this, and I hope you guys are too. If you are, make sure to hit that like button down below. But let's get started. So the Galaxy S8, if you're not already familiar with it, if you haven't been hearing it for months, has a 5.8-inch Quad HD Plus Super AMOLED display, 12-megapixel rear-facing camera, same sensor as the one in the Galaxy S7, but new software to go behind it. 8-megapixel front-facing camera, much improved over the S7, I must say. IP68 dust and water resistant. One of my favorite features of the S7 was that water resistance. Iris scanner, like we saw on the Note series. 64 gigs of internal storage, 4 gigs of RAM, wireless charging. Looks like absolutely a beast of a phone. So let's go ahead and dive into the packaging. So inside of the box, there's a box, and inside of that box, there's paperwork. It says, let's get started. Of course, you got some stuff in here, some AT&T spam and how you can optimize your battery, things about smart switch and camera and Bixby and all sorts of other fun things about this. There is the phone itself with the AT&T, it can wait, distracted driving is never okay. Putting this off to the side for just a second, we get a little AT&T SIM card in here, not gonna get used. A little box with some more documentation inside of it, terms and conditions and Amazon shopping stuff, as well as your SIM ejector tool on the back. You've got the wall USB charging wart. There you can see all the outputs, quick charge compatible outputs, adaptive fast charging, whatever you want to call it. You get a micro USB to USB Type-C adapter, as well as a full-size USB to USB Type-C adapter for the smart switch stuff, a USB Type-C to Type-A cable, and actually, really interesting thing in my opinion, pair of earbuds. And these are not just any old earbuds. These are AKG branded, approximately $100 value earbuds. Braided cable, very nice looking design. Just a quick test with them. Very comfortable fit, blocks out an awful lot of sound. I'm gonna have to try these out. But getting back to the meat and potatoes as it were, back to the Galaxy S8. We'll go ahead and peel all this plastic off the back, peel this terrible thing off the front, and of course there's a sticker right in the center of the back that I cannot get to come off, so that's great. But here on the front is that 5.8-inch display, front-facing camera, USB Type-C port here on the bottom, 3.5mm headphone jack, and the one sort of pitiful speaker here on the bottom with the microphone. Got the power button here on the right side, volume rocker, and presumably the Bixby button here on the left side, and the SIM card slot, and what I think is also the micro SD card slot on the top. On the back you get that 12-megapixel camera with flash and the new placement of the fingerprint sensor, because as you may have noticed, there are no buttons on the front. There's no physical buttons or anything. There's no home button. It's all built into the software and under the screen at this point. And even though this phone is designed a little bit differently than the Galaxy S7, it has the rounded curved edges just like the Edge devices of the past. Just initial impressions, holding it in the hand, not having turned it on yet, I'm not having any trouble holding onto it. That's one of the problems that I had with the Edge devices. I could never figure out which way to hold it, and even then it was very slick. And this one, I don't know how slick it's going to be. I know it's going to be slippery because it is like glass all over, but it doesn't feel bad. I'm definitely gonna have to figure out how to get this sticker off the back though, because that's annoying me. There we go. Now you gotta shine it all back up. There we go. Gotta take a look at that orchid gray color. That is an absolutely beautiful color in my opinion. Just looking at it head on in my lights here, I wouldn't necessarily call it purple. It's kind of a bunch of different colors in one. And you can see that as I move it around, it's kind of gray, it's kind of light blue, it's kind of purple. It's got a lot of mirror qualities to it, so you can see my fingers and the camera and everything in there. It's beautiful, I'll say that much. And you know, without any further ado, I've been going on for a while now. Let's go ahead and power this thing up. And there we are. We're ready to go through the setup process. Looks like we've got about 45% battery remaining, and I think we can get it done in that amount of time. So from this home screen, you can choose your language, emergency calls, go through accessibility features, insert a SIM card. Not gonna do that quite yet. I don't know if it's something about the screen being taller than it is wide, but initial just typing on it was, I messed up my password that I type all of the time on mobile devices twice. But next, terms and conditions, yep. Checking the network to make sure we're good. Checking for updates. Now we sign in and we deal with two-factor authentication and we're signed in. And an email saying that I have a new device. It's asking if I want to restore from another device. No, we're not gonna do that. Now we're gonna try to secure it. You wanna use face recognition, iris scanner, PIN, password, or the fingerprint scanner. I'm gonna say it, the fingerprint scanner is in a terrible location on this device, so I don't know if I'll actually use that, but just to give it a shot, I'll go ahead and do that. All right, pattern has been set. Now we're gonna add the fingerprint. So I'll use my, oh, that's in a terrible location. So we're trying the fingerprint now. Inevitably, I'm gonna end up touching the camera. That's the way it's going to work. That's what everybody else is saying. You know, you put it back there, and you're gonna touch this camera. I had another fingerprint, sure, why not? We'll put the other hand, boy, that's a bad location. It's asking about security for notifications. We'll leave it alone. Hit next. Now it's completing setup. And now the AT&T setup. No, we're gonna try to skip as much of this as possible. Because I'm not actually on AT&T. I'm using a prepaid MVNO. So there's that. Skip all the AT&T apps. Skip, exit. We don't want any of that. Now there's some Samsung account stuff. I do have a Samsung account, so I'll go ahead and sign into that. Yeah, I'm having typing troubles with this keyboard. There we go, that worked. Now it's asking if I want to pull things from Samsung Cloud or do a smart switch. Nope. We can set the screen layout. It says medium and small. So we can change our font and screen zooming and everything and get a preview of it. So if we want it to be big, it can be big. Small can be small. We'll leave it alone. Font size, we can change from tiny to huge. I definitely don't want huge. So that's the default. We'll leave it that way. We've got weather forecast information. Sure, that's all fine. And it looks like we're there. So we can swipe over, get all the AT&T junk apps that are on there. Swipe back here when we get to Bixby, so we can hit start on that. Contextual information and yeah, we'll agree to everything for right now. Might as well. Hello, Bixby. And it says here to go to Hello Bixby, press the key, which is this one right here, or swipe right on the home screen. It's got alarms, reminders, weather information, Samsung stuff. It's basically looking to become the new Google Now. Press the home button for the first time. It's got some feedback to it, and it does have a slightly different feel when you press harder on it. I am going to definitely be switching the layout of these keys, and it's very nice that you can do that now. And it is immediately complaining about Google Play services being out of date, so I'll have to update everything here in a second. But we'll swipe up from the bottom to see what comes pre-installed. Bunch of AT&T stuff there we won't be using. A few Google apps we probably will. Bunch of Samsung apps we will probably never touch. And other than that, looks fairly stock, fairly straightforward. Google stuff, Facebook is pre-installed, Samsung Pay. So yeah, I mean, it's got some stuff on it. And of course it's Android, so you can always go into the Play Store and get more stuff. Again, when you pull down from the top, you get your notification drawer. You can block notifications, clear all the notifications. Here's your quick settings tiles up at the top, just a few. You can also swipe down on it and see more of them, 2 pages of them to be exact. Hit this little button here. We can change the button order or the button grid. You can do 4x3, 3x3, or 5x3 if you wanted to do more of these little buttons. So that's nice. Go into the settings menu here. You can see connections up at the top, a sub menu for all of your connection information, sounds and vibration settings, notification information, display. I've heard there's a lot of stuff in here. There's a blue light filter. Screen mode has adaptive display, but you can also set it back to basic, which will probably help your battery life a little bit. Screen resolution, by default on here, it's set to 2220 by 1080, so full HD plus. You can set it down to 1480 by 720 or as high as 2960 by 1440, which will probably, again, hurt your battery life some. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it up, see if it makes a difference. Screen zoom and font, this is what we looked at earlier in the setup. Lots and lots more settings there. You can go into wallpapers and themes in here. Let's see what's in there. No, I don't want marketing information. So this is kind of like a wallpaper theme store if you wanted to go in there. Yeah, and it does have some add-on purchases if you want advanced features. So one-handed mode, finger sensor gestures. That's kind of cool, opening and closing things with the gestures. Multi-window. It says touch and hold the recents button to do it. You've got smart capture and palm swap. So a lot of neat little things on top of it, gestures and features and whatnot. Device maintenance. So here's some info about battery and storage and memory. And it's actually doing a whole check of the device to see what's going on with it. It says it's 99 out of 100 right now. Of course, it's brand new. I would kind of expect it to be 100 out of 100 being new, but you know, but it says we do have 51.1 gigs free and 1.3 gigs of memory free out of 4. And I'm not doing anything. There's your apps section where you can go and manage all the apps that are installed and disable all the AT&T junk, lock screen and security settings, cloud and account settings, Google settings, software update, general management if you want to deal with your date and time and language and everything. And then about the phone down here at the bottom gives you your model number, as well as Android version 7.0. Take a look in the camera here, because why not? And there's the camera. So down here, there's a Bixby button. So if you put something in front of it, it's going to try to figure out what it is. We'll just put a remote in front of it, hit the Bixby button, and yes, we're going to allow it to do all these things. It says on here, point the camera at an object or location, hold your phone steady while it takes a look. And we'll hit shopping because it's a device you can purchase. And that's definitely nothing like what it is, but that's okay. Now you can go ahead and turn that off by hitting the button again. It actually mentioned there, it popped up and said, a clean lens makes for better shots. Make sure to clean your lens, because it knows that you're going to be hitting it when you're trying to use the fingerprint reader. If we come up into the camera settings though, picture size by default, 4x3, 12 megapixels. Video size defaults to full HD, 1920 by 1080. You can take that up all the way to 3840 by 2160, or you can still do 1080p 60 if that's something you're into. It says you can't do HDR, video effects, or tracking autofocus when you're doing any of these higher quality options. And it says video stabilization is not available while recording in 1:1 in VGA. So presumably you can get video stabilization while you're in 4K. Front camera, again, 8 megapixels. Video size goes up to QHD 2560 by 1440. Video stabilization is turned on. You do have voice controls if you want that, and a floating camera button, and the shutter sound, which I hate the shutter sound. The volume key is going to either take pictures or record video. I'm going to use record video. You've apparently also got faces that you can put on if that's something you're into. Skin tones, you can beautify yourself with that. HDR mode up here, HDR is turned on or set to auto. Flash mode, and you can turn the camera around to selfie mode. It actually says tap the heart rate sensor, which I didn't realize this was a heart rate sensor. I thought it was still. And during the initial stuff, I completely missed the fact that in addition to an LED, there's a heart rate sensor up here still. That's pretty cool. So if I hold it up here and tap the heart rate sensor, it's gonna take a selfie of me. And yeah, it did. It took several. But then also, if I go ahead and hold it and hit the button, it's going to record a video. So if I hit the volume down or volume up, it should start recording. And yes, it looks like it is now recording video. So this should be 1080p video. It's not going to be 1080p 60 for some reason from the front-facing 8 megapixel camera on the Galaxy S8. So there's a quick test for you. Looking in the viewfinder of the screen, of course, it looks pretty good from here. Although the lights over here look like they're flickering quite a bit. Just the refresh rate, yeah. So that's pretty nice. And this should be a look at the rear-facing camera on the Galaxy S8, shooting at 1080p 60 frames a second because that's what everything else is recording in at the moment. It can go up to 4K though, so if you'd like to see some samples, I'll probably do a video of 4K, maybe even walking around testing the stabilization versus using a gimbal or something with it. But again, this is just a quick sample using the Galaxy S8, using the built-in audio. That is that. Now I noticed when I was recording there, it was saying that there was a 10-minute limit on video, so keep that in mind. And I completely forgot to mention all the Edge features. If you swipe over from here, you can see the Apps Edge, swipe on over for the People Edge, frequently contacted people and whatnot. Smart Select if you want to capture an area of the screen, and that's that. And of course, there's more panels that you can enable, same sort of things that were available on other Edge devices. So if that's something you're into, there you go. And you know what, to keep myself from going absolutely too in-depth on all of this, I think that's where I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up for today. I'm gonna take my SIM card, stick it in there, and start using this as my primary device. I've got probably 10 or 15 cases for this device that I'm gonna be testing out over the next while, and I'll probably be giving a lot of those away. So if you have the Galaxy S8 and you're looking for a new case for it, be on the lookout. There's gonna be a couple of videos coming on the channel about those. And like I said, I'll be giving a lot of those cases away because I don't have use for 12 to 15 cases for this one device. But just, again, initial impressions, I love the color. It's beautiful. The device itself feels solid in the hand. The camera looks good. If it's as good as the Galaxy S7 with better battery life, I'll be very happy with it. I think I forgot to mention earlier, it's a 3000 milliamp hour battery, which means that it's probably not going to be terribly good, unfortunately. My wife's Galaxy S7 lives in a battery case right now, so that's probably where this will end up in the long term. But thank you guys as always for watching. Again, make sure to hit that thumbs up button if you like this video, if you want to see more about the Galaxy S8. Subscribe to the channel to get notified whenever I put out new videos. Also hit that notification bell so you do actually get the notifications. And I will see you again next time.